Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Python programming class, which is your skill enhancement course. Today, we are taking this class online due to some unavoidable circumstance. So, before starting the class, I want you guys to make sure that my screen is visible to you and you can hear me well. You can use the emojis on your Google Meet screen, thumbs up. You can also unmute yourself if you want. Okay, very well. So today we are. This will be a one-sided class. So I request you not to practice any command when I am doing like me simultaneously because you are using your phone and it will be mix up if you are using your phone. If you have like computer or laptop, you can multitask, which is fine. But otherwise, you can just see what I am doing today and you can repeat it whenever you have time on your mobile or desktop, whatever you have at your place. So this lecture will be recorded um, for the students who could not join for XYZ reason. And you can also visit this lecture again. So I advise you not to solely depend upon the recording, but to attend the lectures because live interaction is something else. It cannot be compared with the recorded lectures. And also you save time. Otherwise, you keep lingering on, like you become sluggish. That okay, I can do that later, but we never do. So let us start this class. Before going to the actual lecture, let me cover up few things. So I have added this PDF in the Unit 1 folder where you can see history of Python, origin of Python, what were the earlier versions, Python 2.0, what were the different things in it, what is special in Python 3.0, which is the current version, and then recent development like 3.12, 2023, and Python today, what we are using is 3.12 something. And the sixth one is like where we are using Python, web development, data science and AI, automation and scripting, scientific computing, game development, and more. So it is like a summary, right? So you have to go through it whenever you have time. I will not be teaching about it because it is like it is just for reading. There is nothing new in it. So you can just go there. In your paper, they can ask you what about Python, what is the history of Python. Then you have to answer according to this PDF and make a habit to not cram like line to line. Whatever is written here, don't write it as it is unless it is a definition. You can read it and then you can write in your own words if you are good in English. If you are not, then you can also develop that skill. Because if we cram, then we lose the real charm of it. Okay, so let us go to the assignment first. Do you have any question about the assignment I gave you? Few of the students reached me and they said they don't have command prompt working on their mobile. I understand that there is some problem with Android. I don't know. It is working well with my phone, which is iPhone. I can type anything, but maybe for the Android, I also tested in some Android. It was not working. I could not find any alternative so far on on the mobile. I also suggested some of them. Maybe you have tried or not. I don't know, but if you cannot submit that assignment, the first assignment, it is fine. But for the second assignment, that you have numerous Python terminals. You have numerous Python terminals, online terminals. You can just go there and type or write whatever you want. So please complete the assignment too whenever it is the due date. So only 3 submissions are there so far. And I like this, like I don't know how you have guys have uploaded that. So this is like Google Doc or something. Yeah, this is also good. And this is also good, like in Google Doc, I guess. Uma. Google Doc and then question, then answer, question and answer. This is also good. In whatever format you, whatever software you are using for do that, it should be like name is clear and question is clear and the answer is clear at the bottom. So let me ask you again if you have any query regarding assignment, and otherwise we will just proceed for the class today. Okay, there is no query. So let us move forward and give me a thumbs up so that I know you are with me. This is one way to, yeah, thanks. Thanks for the thumbs up. Let us go forward. So next thing I would like to talk about is the syntax of Python. So if we look at your syllabus, let us quickly look at our syllabus. So it says we already covered this part: introduction, data types, built-in functions. Now let us go through Python basic syntax. In introduction to interactive mode programming, script mode, programming, Python identifier, reserve word, the role of indentation. So this is what I'm going to cover. I wanted to cover through this entire week. Today we will touch one or two topics of that. So let us go to the Python basic syntax. Where was I? Notes, unit one. And then this guy here. Okay. I wanted to give you some example, like comparison between C++ and Python. Right. So let us do that. So let us start with the PDF. So Python is one of the most widely used programming languages because of its simplicity, readability, and flexibility. Before writing complex program, it is essential to understand the basic syntax of Python. In this lecture, we will cover the following concepts. Like there is a bonus section in this lecture which is comparing Python and C++, and then we will learn about introduction to interactive mode programming, and then we will learn about script mode. What is the difference between two? You guys have already used the script mode, some of you, while answering the assignments. Then we have Python identifier, reserve word in Python, role of indentation is Python, and comments in Python. Okay, so let us start with the bonus session. So I will compare two codes here. So I will just type online C plus compiler. Okay, I will just write and I will just open the first compiler I'm seeing. Okay, so there is some code written on the left and there is some output. Now I will go to my PDF. So I have already pasted this code. I will just copy it. And when I just copy it, I will just paste it here. So this is my C code to sum two numbers. So let us go to line by line here. So there is first line which is include IOStream. These are the header files, which is basically telling my code to include some header files, which tells the program about there is something how to relate when we talk about input and output. Using namespace space std, this is something we are telling our code that you have to use the name as well as space in a standard context. Like there is something we are defining, let us use the standard thing. And then we start with the int main function where we will write all the main entities of the program and it will return something. If it returns zero, then mean it was executed well. If it doesn't return zero, that means there was some fault in the whole program. There was some error. So inside the main int main, we have this. We start with the curly braces in C++. Whenever we write a function and there is a body of the function, we always write in the curly braces. That's how we tell the code that the function start here and the function ends here. So inside that function, we defined three variables, which are integer int, num1, comma num2, and sum. And in C++, we end the line using semicolon, right? Semicolons tells the C compiler that, okay, the line has been ended. Now shift to the next line. And then we have, okay, this should be a comment. That's why it should be in a previous line. And then we have C out. C out is a statement by which we can just print whatever we want to print on the screen. C in to take the value in, C out again, C in again. Then we do some arithmetic operation, which is sum, adding to number num1 plus num2. And then we print the sum. And then we return 0. If it executes well, it should return 0. Okay, so this is the code, and we are not talking about C++ here, so I will not go in more detail. I will just press run button here. So when I press run button, it executes the code online in some computer somewhere. And I put first number 4 and I put second number 5 and it gives me 9. Okay, code execution successful. So that means the code is well written. Now let us compare it to the Python thing. Okay, so let me open Python compiler online. Okay, so this is a Python compiler online. I just pick one and I go to my unit one again and I go to my Python code. So this is my Python code. So in reality, if we see, this is only 4-line code. These are the comments, right? You can just delete it. Only 4-line code. And if you see the C++ code, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-line code to do the same operation. And in Python, we are doing the same operation, but there is only 4-line code. So there is no weird things that you don't understand. For example, you here in online the C++ code, you will see there is something weird, which is like more computationally motivated. Here it is there, here it is there, here return is there. So we only care about these lines. But in C++, we have to write all those stuff. But in Python, we can just write the lines where we actually need what we are doing. Like for example, here num1 is the variable we created, and inside that variable, we put some number. So I will tell you about the int thing, like when we ask number from the terminal itself. I will tell you about this int statement, but for now, just understand that if I press the run button, what it is doing is, this is input. Whenever I use input command, it is gonna input something from the terminal. And what is the data type of it? Int, integer. So enter first number, it should be an integer, let us say 4. Then I press enter, I go to next line. And what is the next line executing here? Num2, which is also an input inbuilt function, which is asking me for the second number, and it should be an integer. So this is a syntax of input. The input syntax is just this. And there is another layer on it which is telling that it should be a integer. Then I put 5. And when I do that, the sum is 9. Why the sum is 9? Because of this line. Sum, it basically summed num1 and num2 and it printed sum is sum. Okay, so you can relate left with right. The output is same. Okay, the output is same, but the left side, if we see these in Python, it was only 4 lines, and in C++ it was around 12 lines. So this is power of Python. It is very user friendly. You don't have to write extra stuff. It understands everything uh, behind the scenes. So this is one of the reason we use Python. But I will not say Python is better than C++ in some sense, in some different sense. But C++ is the main core language that has developed our world, like web pages, like web apps, softwares, whatnot. In every case, C++ is there, but Python is more like programming language of modern programming language because it is very user friendly, and you can easily do machine learning stuff on it, which is related to AI, and also it is easier to deal with data and all those things, data analytics and data science. But when we talk about scientific computing, I think C++ has more power in comparison to Python. Okay, so far so good. Thumbs up, guys, if you are with me. Yeah. So this was the first example we gave about comparison between Python and C++. There could be numerous example comparing these two, but that is not our main motive here. So we want to learn something else. So we get the motivation. Let us move forward. So you can try this thing, whatever I'm executing, you can go to online some compiler, then you execute this program, then this program, and see the difference so that you understand what is happening. Now, the next topic is Introduction to Interactive Mode Programming. So what is an interactive mode? Interactive mode is like where you are interacting with your computer. How are we interacting with our computer? For Python, we have installed a Python compiler, which is IDLE, and using that integration development learning environment, I guess, we type commands one by one, and we see the results immediately. So whenever I talk about interactive mode, I am executing my commands in the terminal one by one, and it is giving me the output. For example, let me open IDLE. So I open the IDLE. Okay. So this is you can start Python interactive mode by opening in terminal command prompt and typing Python. So if you are using it in a different way, all of you are using idle. So I will just use idle or use idle shell. But there is another way, like if I am using it in my terminal, then I have to first go in Python. If I am in Python, then I start 2 plus 3 and 5. But I am not using it because I want to use the same thing which you are using. So what I did again, I want to open the interactive mode for Python. I go to my, typed idle and I open the idle shell. So this is the shell. So whenever we talk about shell, terminal, command prompt, there is something where we can write commands. So let us write something again, 2 plus 3. Now this is a Python shell. It will just use Python to sum these two numbers. So whenever we are executing one command, then we say it is a interactive mode. For example, I will use input, give one number. Let us say if it is work, give one number, it displayed that, right? I can simply write 2. So I give it one number. Now I have also shared you how to use the input command. So we can improve it better. We can improve it better like input. Oh, come on. Input in this braces, give me one number, right? And I put equal to sign here so that I can differentiate. Now it is better, like it looks better. So I added 4 and it displays 4. Okay, so what I'm using the interactive mode here. So whatever you were doing previously, we were using interactive mode. One more example is I will write print and I will write hi. Today I am taking online class. Okay. So this is what I am using is interactive mode. So again, whatever I am using here is interactive. Now I print X is 10. So what else is written here? In this mode, the result is displayed immediately after pressing enter. However, it is not suitable for writing long programs. You can see easily. So if we just want to add print one thing, like print something in the print some string, it is fine. But if we want to do some like a long program, if you want to write some scientific program or something, then it is not a good way to write. You have to write everything line by line and you will forget what you have written in the previous. You can also see, but it is not a good way, right? You cannot edit all the things at once. So this is the limitation of interactive mode, but it is fun to start with. Okay. Now, before going to the script mode, I wanted to show you something about idle shell. Or okay, we can also use script mode in it. So let us explore. In your windows, you might see some options like file, edit, shell, debug, option windows, something like that. If you click on file, then you can see about the different option for this IDLE shell. Edit is something. Then you have shell, restart shell. If you want, if you do that, it will restart the shell. It will delete everything previously. And interrupt execution is something else. Also, some if you write some program which is running over infinite time and you just want to kill your terminal, then you can just use this button here, option here. And then we have debug, then we have option, then we have windows or help, whatever it is you can explore, right? So let us create a new file. So you can do this in your windows. So let us create a new file. So the new file has been created and I want to write a program here, some program. So let us sum two numbers. So I write num1 is equal to 4, right? And num2 is equal to 4. This is the example of script mode. And then I will sum these two guys here, num1 space. There is no need to put space here. I am putting here because I just want to differentiate between two different things. Otherwise, it will be clumsy. So let me just write some other number instead of 4. So there is sum and then sum num plus 1 num2 and I want to print my sum. Okay, so this is the shortest program and I want to save it. I just pressed Control S and I want to save it in my downloads. Not in the downloads, but in the research. And in the research there is a Python, yeah, Python SCC unit 1. Okay, I want to save it here. And I want to name it as, let us say test.py. I saved it somewhere. Okay. Now I saved it. It is has been saved. The name is here. I want to run it. So whenever I will run it, it will run in the shell. How do I run it? I click here and then I use run here. Now it is not debug anymore. It is run. So when I press run and run module, you will see it has run. It has been run here in the shell. So what I did, I input num1 is equal to 4, num2 is equal to 6, sum is equal to num1 plus num2, and then I printed it. So this is a simple classic example of script mode programming. I am not executing it one by one in the shell, but I have created a py file, .py file, which is a script mode programming. So whenever I write number of lines in Python and I save it in a script, this is a script, and I save it as .py, I can execute all of them together one by one in the shell. How do I do it? I saved it first, then I go here run and I run module. So when I run module, it says, okay, uh, it has run this file which is in this path and the answer is 10. Okay, so let us do some changes. The way I changed in the code provided, enter first number. Okay, and I will just copy paste. I'm lazy guy. So I will just second number, right? And I saved it. Now again, if I do run, now this time it will ask for numbers instead of just printing it. So it is asking me enter first number. I don't like it. I have to put something else. So in debug, in the shell, I interrupt execution. Okay. And I go here again. I want my equal to sign here. Otherwise, I don't. It is not needed. It is just a fabrication to look well. So run module. So now it is something better. So 4, and this is, wow, this is 46 because it is treating it like a string, which is a good example. So why it is 46? Can anyone tell me? Why it is not 10 but 46? You can just guess. Okay, let me ask you a question. Have we defined the data type of what we are putting here? No. So whenever we use input command, whatever we give, it always goes as a string. So we want to put something, some layer here, so that we tell that whatever we are inputting is a integer variable. Otherwise, it will treat it as a string. So when we add string, this is a good example of concatenating, that I put a string 4 and then I put a string 6 because Python is not able to understand using input command. It is treating it as a string. It just concatenated 4 and 6 together. So it was not an actual sum. Now I did it again, run module, and this time I put 6 and then I put 4 and it is 10. Now you see the difference between these two examples, right? So if I put int here, that means it is telling whatever we are inputting here is an integer, and whatever we are inputting here, it is an integer, and then it is summing it as a numerical or as a sum. If we don't put int, it doesn't understand because the input function always take it as a string. But previously what we did, if we just don't use this guy here, we just put 4 and we just put here 6, then it automatically takes it as numerical. It always sums as 10. So it is something with the input built-in function. So that was a example of how to use Python in script mode. So we created a script, we saved it as .py, and then we run it using the idle terminal. Now one more thing I want to to test here. I'm not sure whether it will work or not. It is not working here because I am not in the right path. So can I change the path here in Python? Does it work like that? Let me check. No, I cannot use the cd command. So in order to execute this test.py, what I have to do, I have to uh, go to this path first. But in the terminal, I cannot do that. I have to open my shell there. I'm sure there must be a way to do that. I can do the file, path browser. What is path browser? Okay. But we can use VS Code for that. Let's not get bother about this thing. We have but better compiler who can make our life easier. So this is for a test purpose. So this is about the script mode programming. So let me just cancel this. So in the script mode programming, what we do, you write a Python code in a file with the extension .py, the way I did, then run the file. So I write this whole thing in my script and then I saved it as a py, And then I run this script using this command. I did not use this command because in the idle itself, you can just use the default commands. Like there was a run option here, but not now because we are not in a script mode. So welcome, the output is welcome to Python, and script mode is preferred for long programs because you can save, edit and reuse the code. Okay, so the script mode is preferred for longer programs because you can save, edit and reuse the code. I will give you one example here, and I think that is enough for the day today. The second part, then you can play around with it. We will not go with the third one. So for that, let me give you some example. Uh, so I have a VS Code on my system. So VS Code is something where it's an IDE, integrated development environment, where you can, it is like a text editor with the compiler integrated to it. So what I do, I write something on the left and it shows me something on the right. So let me just give you some example. Don't get uh, traumatized by saying different things, saying different things. These are very simple things. So let me just open a file. So what I'm doing is I will open a file, new file. Let me open it through this. So I created a new file. I will tell you eventually how to use VS Code. So for now, I just wanted to show you something. Are you guys with me? Just like a reassurance I want. Okay, great. Arjun is like 5 times, 7 times with me, or 8 times. Thank you. Thank you for cloning yourself. Okay, so let me give you this example and then we will be done for the day. So I am in some folder in my computer. So what I did is inside that folder, I created a file, new file, and I selected it as a Python file. And I write again, I will use my, classic example of num is int, and then I have input. So I have some AI involved in my system. That's why it is giving me suggestion. So I don't have to write all those things. So my AI is smart. So if I do this, it is suggesting me something because it can read my mind what I'm trying to do. Okay, but that is something you don't have to use. It is recommended for advanced programmer who knows how to write things. So it is the thing which we can do to make our life easy. So what I wanted to do was num1 is equal to some int. We discussed everything, right? And this is a fancy way of printing. Like you are printing some strings and then comma variable, then comma again you put some string, whatever you want to display, then variable, then comma, then again some string, then comma variable. So we created a program. We did control S, and I wanted to save it as, let us say, test again here, test.py. So whenever we are writing our script mode programming, Python programming code, we always have to use this extension .py. This is essential for script mode. So when I write it as test.py and I save it, there is always also test.py. Let us change the name, test1. Okay, test1. So I did change the name. Now my code has been written. I want to execute it. How do I execute it? So there is one way I can go to run, like in the idle, I have this button. If I press this button, it will run my code and it will ask me the first number 45448. Okay, this is one way. I simply press this button. But since we are a beginner, we don't want to rely on these things. We want to write something which executes the file. And I want to tell you then the thing I was showing and how to run a code. We have to go to the same path and we have to write Python space file name dot py. So I'm gonna do that here. So here I'm gonna write Python, provided my path is correct. My path is not correct because this is in unit 1 and this is Python SCC. If I write pwd here, that is Python SCC, and I write ls. Your is dir, mine is ls because it is a shell terminal. That's why my commands are a bit different. And then I wanted to go inside this folder, unit 1. So how would I do that? cd unit 1. Now we are in the same folder where this file is. So reduce the, clear the screen, I just used clear in my terminal. Now I want to run this. So one option is to I just press this button. Other is I do the real business, which is Python. And then I will write the file name test1.py. So when I write that Python test1.py, it compiled the program and executed it. Enter first number 4, enter second number 5, then it is 9. So you can run your code like this. So let us see if I have some other Python code in there or not. Come on, come here. So I have test.py. Let us see what is in the test.py. So it is just a sum program. What other thing I have? So you can see, like for example, in the unit 1, we have only test.py, test1.py, only two. But outside, I have something more. shm.py, vcf.py, planner.py, right? So I can execute this command as this script, which is a script mode. So don't get frightened by seeing the code. You will write all those codes by yourself. So this is a simple harmonic motion code, and I want to run it in my computer. How do I do that? One way is I press this button. So this is another example of script mode that I have number of lines in my .py file. We will go like what is the meaning of all these lines. But for the time being, I will just go one folder back. I go one folder back because my shm.py was there. And then I write Python shm.py. And when I did that, it generated plots. Okay. So it calculated everything and it generated plots. So this is one of the example of what Python can do in terms of data analysis, data visualization. So we will learn all this stuff. This is just an example I wanted to show. And one more example, VCF was not that, assignment maybe. Yeah, Planet. Yeah, Planet is one more example which is under assignment folder. So Python can also be used to simulate some simulations. So I am inside assignment. I just run it. So this is not a planet. This is an electromagnetic photon going out of the charged plane. So you can also create some animations, not like animation, but some rough simulation using Python. So this is the code for that. We will eventually learn it if someone is interested. But for the time being, let me just encapsulate, summarize what we learned today. So we learned two things. We learned script programming as well as interactive programming. Interactive programming is when we run one by one commands on the shell itself. It could be a Python shell. It could be a idle shell. Why it is not opening? Okay, so was the example of interactive commands like 4 plus 5. Okay, so whatever you can execute in a single line. And then we learned about the script mode. Script mode is a bit advanced, where what we do, we create a Python file in some folder, and then we write that, and we save it as .py, and then we run, we choose our path, and by choosing our path, we which was the unit one. By choosing our path, we run the code using Python, the file name .py. Okay, this is how we can use the script mode. Now, what you can do at your home, I showed you this one. So this is a script mode. In the left side, you are writing the script mode, right? So you can write your code here. You can edit it, and you can try different things you learned today. And on the right side, you will see the output. So you can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer, whatever facility you have at your home. So I think that was all about today's lecture, and we will learn more tomorrow or day after tomorrow. If you have any question, this is the time. Okay, if you have no question, then I understand that everything was well and you understood. Just give me a thumbs up if you understood. Otherwise, yeah. And I will record this lecture and I will upload to the YouTube so that the student who could not see can also see that. Okay, then I guess let us move ahead and stop the lecture so that you can also enjoy your vacations or holiday. And see you. Bye bye.